Hi everyone. Today we are in conversation with the founders of Opstree, Sandeep sir and Shankar sir. Sandeep sir takes care of the technical side of the things in Opstree, CTO of the company, and Shankar sir is CEO of the company. So over to you,
Sandeep.
Sandeep. Hi sir.
Yeah,
So let's do a little bit introduction and then we'll jump into the wider discussions.
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, hi everybody. As hi Sandeep. So as you already introduced, I am Shankar Jha. I am the co-founder and CEO at Opstree Solutions and Opstree Labs, and we started this company in 2014 with a very clear focus that we wanted to set up a very high velocity, uh, very reliable cloud DevOps and security company. And as we look back now, we have been fairly successful with very large enterprises, Fortune 2 company, Fortune 7 company, uh, very large companies like Optum, companies in India, almost all startups, large unicorns, decacons, etc., leveraging our services and using us as their only DevOps team. So we have been
Uh,
uh, so we have been f- like quite successful in achieving that, and our journey continues. So as of today, we have started working with even the larger enterprises of India, and getting uh, their business, and getting their confidence to manage even their business. In 2018, we started building our product also called Build Piper, which is a end-to-end uh, delivery platform, internal development platform, architectural guideline platform, etc. Quite powerful in a way. And in 2021 December, we launched the product, and there also we have fair success with companies like Lenscart, Pine Labs, Standard Chartered, and even many more customers leveraging our product for their complete DevOps operations. So that would be it. Over to you, Sandeep.
Thanks, Shankar, and thanks, Sandeep, for hosting us. So, hey everyone, Sandeep this side. I am co-founder and CTO of the solutions. I take care of the technical aspects of the company, ensuring that whatever latest that comes into cloud DevSecOps area, we learn that, imbibe that, and then help our partners in the maturity journey. In addition to that, I another personal initiative that is very close to my heart is in terms of open source contribution. And Sandeep, as you are already aware, that DevOps is a lot about open
yes,
source ecosystem,
exactly.
and that's what reflects in the Opstree philosophy as well. So talk about all the dimensions of DevOps, right? Whether it is containerization, whether it is software configuration via Ansible, or cloud orchestration via Terraform, or monitoring Grafana dashboards, Prometheus Exporter. In all those areas, we actively contribute back to the open source ecosystem. In fact, uh, recently we have introduced Redis operator. It's almost 1 to 2 years, but the kind of usage that we have seen, that is astonishing. So companies like MPL, Walmart, all those companies are leveraging our Redis operator. Same goes with our logging operator. So Microsoft Azure on their website have mentioned that okay, logging operator is the operator that you can use to set up logging on your Kubernetes cluster. Uh,
Yeah, great.
and continuing with that journey from last 4 years, we have been actively publishing one blog every Tuesday without fail. You can imagine it
Oh, okay.
publishing one blog is difficult, right? But
Yes,
we
yes,
have been
exactly.
doing consistently for 4 years, so that talks about it. And then let's say workshop events, we do a lot of stuff. That's pretty much about me. And Shankar already talked about Opsi Solutions and Build Piper, so I will not talk a lot about that. But yes,
Cool, cool. Thank you very much, sir. I mean, there is lot to learn and huge achievements actually, especially in the open source community. We'll come back to this later. Uh, the first question would be, I mean, very simple, plain vanilla question, sir. Uh, why the Opstree started? And I mean, everybody is doing DevOps in their own team. I mean, do you think you had the expertise or you wanted to do it in certain way? What was the main reason behind it?
I think Shankar can answer this in a much better fashion.
Oh, okay, exactly.
So in 2014, when this company started, I don't think many people understood or knew what DevOps is. It was a very, very new word coined. Even actually, Sandeep started working as a DevOps engineer even when people did not know this word at all. They were just doing build and release automation. So Sandeep was started working for a very large company via his ex employer, and he
Mhm.
we both of us were Java developers. So Sandeep worked for that project for almost 8 9 months and felt that his profile was getting sort of blurred because he was a Java developer architect and he was being
Mhm.
asked to work as a release engineer. So he
Mhm.
decided to quit his job and take a job for as a release engineer. But wherever he went, people were wanting to hire him for his release capabilities and not for Java capabilities. So
Oh,
then
okay.
Sandeep felt that there was something in this that he was not understanding. Then he started hiring his replacement. His,
And if there is some,
yeah, it's
yeah,
gone. So he started hiring his replacement, but he was not able to hire replacement also for him. So then he felt that okay, this appears to be some upcoming field where people are not there. So he joined
Mhm.
Snapdeal as the DevOps manager, almost the only person doing DevOps for Snapdeal at that time. And that was his beginning in the DevOps journey. But in parallel, he started doing a lot of books. He started helping others in projects, and he found that there was a lot of scope. So after 2 to 3 years of that time frame when he joined Snapdeal, he called me up saying, "I am getting a lot of work, but I am not able to scale. Can you help me?" And that is
Mhm.
how both of us got together to sort of create this company called Opstree. So it came out of natural pull in the market. So there was a natural pull, and that is why when we started working for Opstree, and for almost till 2020, we did not have any sales or marketing team, but we were consistently growing, and because of our good work and word to mouth, uh, positive feedback, always we had more work than we could deliver, and that has been the sort of type of validation we have had in terms of honesty and quality of delivery. What can do with you is what we have seen, right? Sandeep, you want to add something?
no, no,
Exactly, sir.
you have summarized this perfectly well. The only thing that Shankar didn't talk about is that uh, he was from product background, right? And he always wanted to build product, and that's how this build piper came into the picture. So we all, well, Shankar always had that inherent feeling that we should build a product, but uh, we decided, okay, let's do services. Let's always remain bootstrapped, uh, fundamentally strong, financially strong, and that's where we stand today as well, having a very good product and services arm.
On top of it, sir, just from this question, ki, does it really does it help you a lot in this way that after doing services you got to know so many architectures, so many way of thinking, doing things in n number of companies, and then you I mean kind of had that expertise, and after getting that expertise you kind of put it into a product. Is it something?
You are right. You are right that uh, service companies acquire a lot of knowledge, and if they are doing their work very well, they are not
Hmm.
just trying to solve the just trying to sort of become a services rather than just trying to become a serving company. Tries to become a thought leader, let's say. So
Hmm.
all our customers for whom we have worked, we have tried to do very good work rather than just fulfilling what they do or retarding their process. We have been ruthless automators, by the way. And because
Hmm.
we have done ruthless automation for all our customers, so one of our customers was saying that you are in the business of self cannibalizing your own business, by the
Oh, okay.
way. So basically, you go and automate your customers' work, and because
Hmm.
you go and automate your customers' work, you do not have more work. So
Yes,
I
yes,
told
exactly.
him as a reply that there is enough and more work in the market. So let's say even if we self cannibalize, you will recommend us to so many people that will grow as a company, and that has been happening with us. But there was an additional advantage which I did not realize at that time, is that you come to know of doing very good ways of doing work, and
Exactly.
that sort of gives you a very good headway on telling the world how you should do typically a work by a product. And that is what happened with Build Piper. But I think there is one more thing which is very very important, that I as a person, and Sandeep also quite much, were very much inclined towards doing product. So we sort of had that product mindset. We all, even at, if you look at our open source contributions, you'll find that there is a very typical product mindset in those contributions, that we have generalized the things. It is a reusable component, things like that. It's not just a accelerator. So then when we started doing build piper, we could do it very well. We could, it requires a lot of dispassion, by the way, because if we are putting our time in a product, we are sacrificing the velocity of the services company growth, by the way. So it requires a lot of dispassion to, and a lot of passion on the other side, to develop the product, develop a separate team, fund it, etc. And luckily we could do it with the services. So it's hard to do, by the way, because services is almost like a genie. You unbottle it, it starts growing, it starts pulling you in all directions. uh, it asks you to do a lot of things, but we have remained focused. We did not decide to do everything. We did only DevOps, cloud security for a very very long time, almost 10 years now. That sort of gives you that repeated ability to learn, grow, become better. That is very important. Focus is very important. Sandeep, what do you think you say about it?
Right, right. And especially see the difference that we have seen is that, let's say, we being an expert, right, building a product. Now somebody decides to build a product in DevOps, but then that kind of domain expertise, right? That kind of, maybe you have domain expertise, but those scenarios, that typically becomes very, very difficult. And that's why a lot of soul searching needs to be done. But since we were doing day in, day out, so that's why we have sort of created it as a journey, and for a lot of our customer it feels like a DevOps assistant to them. Our
Exactly.
product, our customer feels like that it's a DevOps, it's a DevOps person for us, only for me, which is taking my state system to the state where I want it to be from day zero
Exactly.
itself. That is the biggest difference that we have seen, at least in market.
Exactly, exactly. So no worries, no worries. But that kind of really stand out for me, that you remain focused on doing DevOps because as you entered into this service industry, you get so much work, and uh, there is so much pulling from the inside that okay, let's do this, let's do that as well. But remaining focused and doing DevOps only, it was kind of things really making more sense in a way. I mean, as you look back today, basically.
Right, Sandeep. Matlab, for that, now you have to be very, very strong willed. I remember it was
Exactly.
only 1 year of our operation. We only had two clients. And then after a year, one client came to us and said that, why don't you do a development for us? And matlab, I will
Exactly.
give you matlab, let's say work of 10 or 15, 20 developers. We were
Yes.
only 5, 10 people, right? So just imagine the
Mhm.
kind of work that we were getting, and that from US customer. But
Mhm.
the good thing about Shankar is that he's a visionary, right? And then he is
Mhm.
very strong willed. He, matlab, without an iota of doubt, he simply said that no, we don't want to compromise with the quality, because let's say we are focusing on DevOps. Now, if we go into
Mhm.
some other direction, probably we will not be able to do justice to DevOps and to development as well. At least right now, we
Exactly.
are able to do justice to DevOps, and that's what has been a quality of us for last 10 years, right? We have been consistently delivering high quality work to our customers,
Exactly. Exactly.
and that you can say a recipe of success for us is that we always remain very, very focused.
Yes, sir. That I have seen,
All
sir.
the
You are not only standing out, actually, you are knocking it out of the park. I have seen some of the engineers, and even I couldn't clear Opstree, as you know. I mean, I've interviewed for it in 2018. I couldn't clear it, and those engineers were really smart, and they were doing n number of things. And those days, they were talking about platform engineering, automation, and I was like, okay, I only know about Kubernetes, cloud, Docker. Do you really want me to explain or something? But they were like, do you know how to create all these playbooks, this playground, and everything? And I was like, I think I should go back. But no worries. That was also good. So coming to the build piper. Uh, I'm sure it would have been so many iterations, prototyping, feedback taken, go to market strategy, and everything would have been done, because this, if I think, is a company within a company. I mean, you treat as a company, a startup within a startup, basically. So what was the feeling or kind of thinking behind this? Because you knew that okay, we need to build some product, but how it has to be and how it will be gradually built over the years and over the time, basically, how it was, because it's been quite mature now.
Yeah, so I just want to tell you that, like we said, we were very focused on doing DevOps. We were very focused on this product also. So we have spinned up a separate company called Opstree Labs Private Limited.
Mm-hmm.
This product is not in Opstree Solutions. It's not an entity within an entity. It's a separate company. It has
Mm-hmm.
complete separate team.
Oh,
The
exactly.
project management, development, DevOps, everything is separate. Marketing, sales, everything is separate. So unless and
Mm-hmm.
until you give separate attention to a product, that product cannot become mature. Because see,
Mm-hmm.
if you are doing same work, people you doing two things, they cannot focus on two things, obviously. And something which is bringing you money today is always a priority than something which may bring money tomorrow. So services will give you money today now. Let's say you
Yes.
can mint as it is going, whereas product you have to
Mm-hmm.
invest a lot, and then ultimately at some time later it will start becoming, the pull effect will come and the product will become positive revenue generating company, right? But because we had a separate team, separate focus, luckily very early in our journey, almost 8 months or 9 months in the development process, we had a customer for the product. I think I
Oh,
can
okay,
name
that
the
is good.
customer. It is original for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
that thing, I think that they agreed to use the product was very important sort of success for us. And we are very grateful to them that they used the product very early. And at that time also it was stable. It was serving their work processes. Although it was very different, but they gave us a lot of feedback. They gave us a lot of feedback. We learned from it. And then there were some customers who did not use our product, but in the POC phase they gave us so many feedback, and that led to really making our product so nice and so powerful that in 2021, I believe, when 21 September time frame, when lens 22 or 21, I don't remember, Sandeep, lens card, when lens
I think
card was, yeah,
between 21 22 only.
22 only. When Lenskart was evaluating the product, they could find that the thinking, the templatized thinking which we have in the product, the template
Mm-hmm.
approach we have taken, the ability to absolutely modify the behavior of the product by the end customer if they want, they liked that feature a lot. So they were able to govern, manage, ensure auditing, and they took our product against OpsMX Pinnacle. So that is what happened. And then then after Lenskart took our product to such a large enterprise, and uh, they had complex processes, and they grew very fast, exceptionally fast. That contributed a lot into the overall. So I will tell you that if we do our, so in successes we have learned, in failures also we have learned. So I cannot name you, but there was a company which leveraged our product for 3 months. There was lot of back and forth. They said they need this, they need that, etc. And ultimately they did not take the product, but we are very thankful to them also, because
Mm-hmm.
they could teach us so much about what we need to build in the product ultimately. So it's a, we have learned very seriously from both type of customers, and because of that today we have become quite mature in our offering. Sandeep, you want to say something?
No, no. You, I think you have summarized all the journey, all those experiences that we had. But I think the best, again, I think the decision that you take early, right, in a very deterministic fashion, that actually defines you. So I
Mm-hmm.
remember very beginning we created a complete separate entity,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why typically people have always that doubt that okay, a service company cannot build product, because typically the mistake that they do is that within service company from their current team only they get the product built, right, and then priority
Yes.
changes. And that
Exactly,
is
sir.
the decision that we took, that okay, we should have a separate team, and whatsoever be the case, they will never ever get involved into services. So then you have that focus, right? That's what that was the one of the main decision that we took.
And one thing I want
Exactly,
to
sir.
tell you,
Mm-hmm.
that somehow the mindset of people who want to do services and the
Mm-hmm.
people who want to do product are very different. Luckily, very early in our journey, we found people who wanted to do products.
Mhm.
So we started off with two, three people, but they were exceptionally different people. They were, I think, created by God to do products. By the way, so
Exactly. They were
they,
born for it, basically.
pardon,
They were born
what?
for it, I think.
Yeah, they were born for it, and if they were not there, this sport would not have been there. So that is also a factor I missed to mention. So they have contributed their sweat and blood, and not for anything, not for money, I can tell you for sure. We were paying them
Exactly.
almost nothing, but they were born to do that. They were passionate enough to do only that. So they have, like, I have seen these people early, not going to their home for 3 days in a trot.
Okay.
We had a small conference room, so they would sleep in the conference room, work there, continue for two days, 3 days. So it used to surprise us. So what, but that is what actually is very, very important, to find a team which is passionate about doing product development. Even if they are given a chance, they would not want to go to services. So that is, there
Exactly.
is that you have to identify such people, use in
Mhm.
product, and services should have the services people. And that makes a lot of difference. Sandeep,
Yep, yep. Right, Shankar.
Yes, I think the leisure shop focus should be there. If you really want to build a product in service-based company, there should not be overlapping of time or basically the priorities. That should be the key, I think, if I can summarize in a way. And you have to
absolutely.
really think about the product way. So that I think really worked out for Build Piper, and I've seen it. I mean, it does really work well, and just like the engineers of Opstree, basically. Exactly. Uh, so coming on to next thing, sir. What I mean, Opstree is quite mature. It has been doing really good now, and Build Piper is also being recognized or kind of being adopted on a enterprise level. So what is next? I mean, what kind of challenges you are trying to solve next, or how it is really going to work out for Opstree and Build Piper in future?
So basically, what we have done till now is that we have built the background for a very good services company, and we have
Mhm.
also built the background for a good product company.
Mhm.
The time is to scale. So last 1 year, there was obviously the market was not, sort of gone into small sleep. Sort of, there was a small recession in the market. People were slightly indeterministic. The
Mhm.
trend continues, but as soon as the market opens up, we feel there is a small green shoots of opening up appearing in the market. That is what we
Mhm.
feel. So we would want to sort of find more partners for our product company across
Mhm.
the globe. So we have set up an entity in US, and we
Oh,
also set
okay.
up an entity in Dubai, and
Oh, nice.
we are talking to some very large enterprises in US, and also some
Mhm.
very large enterprises in Dubai for product adoption.
Implementation. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
product adoption, and we are running at various stages. So in some companies, everything is done, and we are about to sign the contract. In some companies, we are doing the POC, but they are exceptionally large enterprises, by the way. Similarly,
Mhm.
for services, we have done our pivot. So as we were both, Sandeep and we were, have always worked in the startup ecosystem, have worked very closely
Mhm.
with startup people. Those people moved into different leadership positions in large startups, and most of
Mhm.
our customers were around this ecosystem. So except some fortune companies, if you look at our clientele, they would be mostly very large startups in India. So
Mhm.
I don't want to name them, but any startup, large startup, we imagine would mostly be our customers. But now what we are trying to do is we are trying to penetrate into the enterprise ecosystem. So that
Mhm.
takes its own sweet time. You have to really show your value proposition. So product opens a lot of doors for us, because Bill Piper draws a lot of interest, and
Mhm.
through sometimes through products, sometimes through services, we are able to penetrate large enterprises in multiple geographies. And our plan is to then have very clear bifurcation in different geographies, and have leaders in those geographies. So In Dubai, we have started identifying some leaders who would
Mm-hmm.
work with us in long run, and so
Mm-hmm.
is the case in US. So we would want to build a nodal organization where every geography has its own nodal leadership, and they
Mm-hmm.
work to build the company in that geography. So that is the approach we are taking.
Oh,
Even in
great.
India, for Hyderabad, for Bangalore, we are taking a nodal approach. We want to build the company around those leaders in those geographies. Right, Sandeep?
Oh.
Yes. So one couple of more things that I want to add, Sandeep, is that see, being in a service-based domain, na, it's always that you should always remain ahead in the curve, right? And you have to take a lot of strategic initiatives, right? And then every year we choose some strategic initiatives and then we work on them. So, for example, last year we said that we want to strengthen our partnership ecosystem. So then we started working with AWS very, very closely. In a year's time, we became AWS Advanced Consulting Partner, garnered couple of competencies as well, for example, WAR, EKS, at tech competency. And then we started working in a very close fashion with AWS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, GCP is again GCP also we are working very closely, and soon
Mm-hmm.
we want to become very close associate with them. Same applies for Azure as well. So this is what we did last year. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
this year, what we are planning. So see, DevOps. I think you are also aware, right? Earlier it
Yeah.
used to be plain simple DevOps
Yes, yes,
implementation.
exactly,
But
exactly.
now maturity is coming into the system, and things are getting democratized, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
another initiative that we have said that instead of plain simple DevOps, now we want to do a competency or domain driven DevOps. For
Domains.
example,
Exactly.
FinTech in a Box initiative. We have started an
Mm-hmm.
initiative that is called FinTech in a Box. Now, what we are
Okay.
saying that let's say when people implement DevOps for companies, it's typically exploratory exercise, right? You go there,
Mm-hmm.
you figure it out, then you implement, then some you hit bottlenecks, right? But we are saying
Mm-hmm.
that we being a company who is expert, obviously in DevOps, but then
Mm-hmm.
we want to understand the complete fintech domain as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we will tell you that okay, how DevOps should be implemented in fintech. It will never be an exploratory exercise, right? So
Okay.
we will tell you that okay, let's say the new RBI governance policies are coming in, right? So you should
Mm-hmm.
take care of all those aspects. It should not be that okay, they came, then somebody raised concern, then it will get fixed, right? Or let's say you start implementing infrastructure and then gradually reach out when you do compliance audit and all those stuff. Now, why not? It
Mm-hmm.
can be done from day zero itself. So that is something another strategic initiative that we've taken in services area. Shankar, you want to add
This
something?
this this is really good, sir. Actually, I mean, I haven't seen this approach because you work with almost all of the domains in the industry, and if you provide very specific consulting and kind of work stream towards their focus area, they would kind of really love it. And a lot of these startups, I mean, they really struggle with the things because they know their business, they know n number of things about their company, but DevOps in a fintech or any edutech or any other way is kind of really different everywhere basically. So if you know the recipe how to implement it and you have perfected it, so that would be really, I mean, kind of hit for them. So this is I thinking, sir. I mean, this is gonna really boom.
Absolutely. So data governance is very important. So there also we are working for fintech. So the fintech in a box will be absolute, complete compliance related thing. So it will take care of data. It will take care of DevOps and security. And
Hmm.
that there, I think I missed to mention that now we have also started diversifying our services. So instead
Hmm.
of working now, instead of like for example, Sandeep is our leader in DevOps. So he takes care of complete DevOps vertical, technology leader,
Hmm.
etc. We
Hmm.
are hiring vertical leads in data and QA automation also, and
Okay.
under them we will start building these service lines in our company also. Data
Hmm.
is always already taken up. We have already
Hmm.
hired the leader, and he is sort of building the database and data services in the company. And so is
Hmm.
the case with QA automation, VAPT, and QA. So these two areas we've already started expanding. So we, vision wise, we want to now sort of provide the same consistency and quality of delivery which we have been giving in DevOps into other
Hmm.
areas also, with the same type of template which we have followed for DevOps. So somebody at the top
Mhm.
who understands this better than anybody, and then he builds the team very well, and then we provide the high quality delivery to our customers under his leadership, so that the
Exactly.
bug stop.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay. I think you perfected it now. Moving on to other areas or other way, I can say it now. The pull is kind of greater in QA and data platform. So I think
right.
you're launching in them. But I think this is also gonna be hit uh,
Yes, but it will be
from us.
consistent with our theme, Sandeep. So
Yes,
what we
yes,
say that you focus on your development, right?
yeah, yeah,
But
I agree.
ensuring that the product that you are building or the services that you have, they should run
Mhm,
smoothly, right? So you need DevOps, you need testing, all the flavors of testing, whether it is VAPT,
mhm,
performance, security, automation, and then
mhm,
obviously data is something where you have to do analytics on top of
mhm,
your application. That's where also we can help. But focus on your core product, right? Rest of the
mhm.
thing we can take care of us. Rely on us. You can rely on us basically.
Exactly, exactly. I think this is kind of, I mean, very strategic thinking. Said that okay, DevOps we have perfected. Now, what is next burning issue, which is data governance and security and QA. So this is kind of in a right way from my perspective as well, sir. Um Coming to next question, sir, which I really wanted to ask you because I have seen you really talked about it a lot and you kind of advocates for it basically. So the question is around platform engineering, sir. So how it is and how really it should be. Do you think people are doing it correctly in current environment, or what changes would you suggest to make?
So whenever we go to somebody uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, with our product build piper, they generally try to slot us against, let's say, GitHub Actions, or
Mm-hmm.
let's say against Argo CD, and
Mm-hmm.
that is absolute misunderstanding about our product. So
Mm-hmm.
build piper is actually a platform engineering tool. But
Mm-hmm.
what is a platform engineering tool? It is absolutely new terminology. If you go to Google and search platform engineering, you would get different kinds of answers. But that this is
Mm-hmm.
something, a segment which is getting created, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, we are sort of envisioning it in a very different fashion. It's a very different manner. What we are saying is, let's say, whenever you are building your product, you should have a very good central catalog, software catalog management, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are your different teams? What are the different services in each team? What is the quality maturity of those services? What is the overall maturity of your company? So, there is a software catalog which is telling you your current state. So, any CXO can come, look at the catalog, look at the maturity, what is the current code which is deployed, what is the current code which is built, etc., etc. All those details. Then second is agile governance. So generally what people do is they use Jira or some other tool, ITSM tool for agile management, and they use Jenkins or some other tool for delivery. Now they are not integrated with each other. So technically anybody can go and do deployment in production and not have any approval on Jira. There's no
Mm-hmm.
way you could stop them from doing it, or there will be a lot of scripts which will be used to maybe put some gate checks. Still somebody can circumvent it, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
build piper has a very seamless integration with Jira, ServiceNow, create and ensure that you have complete end-to-end change management done very well without even anybody creating a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Everything gets created automatically by build pipeline, etc. So the complete agile governance piece is done very well, very well in our product. So that is another area. Then infra governance is another area which is very critical, very well serviced in the market. So when you say infra governance, you would want to have a certain quality of
No,
certain
go ahead, sir. Go
quality
ahead.
of
We are good.
yeah, there'll be certain quality of uh, code you should write for infra. Then there should be certain security checks which should be there for infra, and cost checks also. Somebody can launch a very large machine for an LLM processing and then forget about it, by the way. Now
Mm-hmm.
that cost is being incurred by the company. I've heard some CTOs tell that people were creating very large machines to do some LLM analysis and they were forgetting to switch it off, or we wanted to put some governance around it. This cost governance, because cloud is so easy to use, with great power comes great responsibility. So you
Exactly.
also have to be very, very careful about using it. So that all those pieces are there in the product, by the way. So that is another area. Then you want to have org wise standardization, right? You want to have compliance, you want to have security, and it should be standard across the organization. Now if you have
Mhm.
Jenkins scripts, you have so many pipelines, let's say 100 pipelines, how do you ensure that every pipeline is compliant? But in our product, for one team there should be only one pipeline,
Mhm.
because the pipeline does just the workflow. How build happens, how deployment happens is configured in the service, not in the pipeline. So you have one
Mhm.
pipeline and you have one template. That template decides what happens during build, what happens during deployment. So if you want to embed some checks, you have to change it in one place. So I was talking to a very large enterprise, so I asked them, if you today want to introduce check marks in your complete organization, how much time will it take? So he was smiling. I would say it will at least 6 months for you to do it, right? For using build piper, it takes a minute to do it. And you could gradually migrate people to the new template. The old template can be phased off, and you can have reporting as to who is still using old template, and then coerce them to use the new template. And that is what it takes in terms of effort. Whereas if you are having fragmented release processes, you have to go in every instance of Jenkins, make the changes, or
Mhm.
every instance of pipeline, etc. So it's a complex. So what I'm trying to tell you is, a platform which is enabling you to deliver your software has to be so mature that it eliminates the maximum amount of sweat that people do to ensure think they can do standardization. And once that is there, it becomes so easy to navigate and make everybody comfortable. They can do their debugging, shift left is possible, everything is possible. So there are some levers around which we have built the product, and that is what we call platform engineering. It's very, very important that the ops should be invisible ops. So it's very important. It's a very important terminology, that your DevOps team should be not talking to anybody. They should be developing the platform, which should be the visible part where people should come and work, interact with. And if there are any problems, they report problem in the platform, and the platform is fixed. Then your developers are enabled. There is no cycle time wastage. There is no dependency, no bottleneck like that. Sandeep,
Mhm.
over to you.
Sure, sure. Uh, maybe I can talk about one of my, let's say, experience, or let's say understanding that I built over past 2 years, right? So
Mhm.
see, what I have seen is that when we talk about platform engineering, it's not a simple solution, right? It is not a very simple automation. It is a product in itself, right? Now,
Exactly, sir.
let's say if a company decides to build a product, then obviously they want to have those dedicated people and working on that particular platform over a period of time. In my experience, what I have seen, and I have some examples there, where let's say a certain company who has a product, right? Now they started building, let's say, a platform for themselves, but then it took them for the 2 or 3 years. But as you know, Sandeep, a lot of iteration is there, right? And then with the people going, that knowledge gets lost, right?
Yes, yes, exactly.
When that knowledge gets node, then you are in a limbo state, right? You cannot
Yes.
move forward, you cannot move backward. This is of kind of a challenge that I have seen. So let's say if as a company you want to build a platform by yourself, it's a very good
Mhm.
thing to do, because ultimately we are all solving tech. But then this is one of the biggest challenge that you should always plan for, that
Mhm.
let's say as a product company you create contingency for your product team as well. But let's say
Mhm.
when you decide to build up another product for solving your platform challenges, it has to be taken as another product only. And then all the uh, let's say innovation that you're doing, investment that you're doing, you have to keep track of that. Typically I have seen that company misses that. And then
Mhm.
after some time, that question of ROI comes into the picture.
Mhm.
Let's say when you buy a product, that ROI question comes from day zero. But
Yes,
when
yes.
as a company you start building a platform, that never comes into the picture. But after 3 years, 4 years, then that ROI question starts coming into the picture. And that's where a lot of company then get into that soul searching. So that
Mhm.
is another very important decision that a company should take.
Exactly,
And
exactly,
that's where
sir.
the question of build versus buy come into the picture.
Actually, sir, actually, I was coming to that only because two things which I really wanted to discuss with you were other than Opstree and Build Piper were doing platform engineering and how do you really make decisions about build versus buy? How how, I mean, what are the pros and cons? How do you really weigh it? And if you are going to kind of uh, show it to someone, or kind of proposing someone, pitching to someone, what will be your I mean, thought process behind it?
Yeah, absolutely. See, this is a subject which is very close to my heart. I have also written an article about it on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll send you the link. So,
Oh, awesome, thank you.
so basically, what it is that any company, if they are doing a product, they have to very
Mm-hmm.
carefully think what should be built in house and what
Mm-hmm.
should be leveraged from an expert who is building it very well. Now,
Mm-hmm.
my recommendation in that article which I have written is, let's say if you are building the core of your product,
Mm-hmm.
this which is your differentiator, for example, that
Mm-hmm.
should always be built in house.
Okay.
So let's say you are trying to build a something like book my show or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. So unless and until you have written the algorithm of how the seat selection should happen, etc., etc., you would not be able to differentiate from other players who are maybe leveraging a similar software. You
Mm-hmm.
should some unique idea in your mind which you are trying to
Mm-hmm.
implement, which will differentiate you from others, right?
Mm-hmm.
That sort of should be always built in house, should be done by your own team, and they should be very passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
Only then you will win the piece, because see, today the unless you are doing very very disruptive thing, the
Mm-hmm.
market is always replacement, right? The better takes over the other solution which already existed, right, to take over from
Mm-hmm.
them, and you'll
Exactly.
run the business, right? For example, in our case, build piper, people are already solving their problems of CI/CD, and in a way is doing platform engineering. But what we have done is we have built a very smooth way of delivering software, and they have started liking our way of doing it, and they have started using this product. So we are in
Mm-hmm.
a way replacing others. So now question is, when I'm building my core, if I'm using the my own team, I can also build the periphery with my own team also, right? So peripheral things which are not the core of my function,
Mm-hmm.
if I start building it myself, it consumes lots and lots of energy, and it either would deviate my focus from the core, or
Mm-hmm.
I would not be able to focus on the periphery, and that will remain my weak link.
Mm-hmm.
My recommendation is always that you build your core and delegate the periphery to people who are doing it as their core.
Mm-hmm.
For example, doing platform engineering is our core functionality, so it is our core. But for most of the companies who are doing product development, platform engineering is their peripheral function, right? It is not their core function. Now, but
Yes, yes.
people who are doing core product development, they should delegate their peripheral function to companies who are doing it as their own core function, so that they can rely on us to do their work very well. And but still, sometimes people may think, why not build, because this is an ongoing cost. This is an
Mm-hmm.
ongoing cost. Let's say if you leverage build piper, every month you have to pay. But the fact is, any product should be able to leave money in the bank accounts. If it is not doing that, it's not a product.
Yes, yes.
Are you getting my point? So let's say if you
Exactly.
would build your core, and let's say if you would maintain it, right? It would mean building will mean a huge amount, by the way, and then
Yes, yes.
maintaining it is again a cost. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
the product is able to at least run at less than the maintenance cost only, forget
Mm-hmm.
about the building cost, then it is a valid product, right? So, we prove to our customers that if you build your core and then maintain it, the cost you will spend in maintaining it is more than we would take as your our license fee. And
Okay.
generally it makes sense to them that
Mm-hmm.
first is building is a huge effort. It would mean quite a bit, by the way. So
Mm-hmm.
at least uh, at least 1.5 years of 7-8 people team would be needed to build a very suboptimal solution compared to build piper, because you would build it just in your context, right? So it would
Exactly.
be skill trees, etc., and still you would need a very large team to maintain it. Whereas build piper is a standard off the shelf COTS product which can be used, and it sort of runs at a cost lesser than the maintenance cost. That
Mm-hmm.
is the that we are not like AWS, by the way. So AWS is very lucky product, which, or any cloud, for example. So they charge you more than you would spend on let's say building buying a server, by the way. So if let's say
Mm-hmm.
1 year but still people use it because it has its own value props. It's an
Yes, yes.
amazing value prop. our product, we are saying that if you would be spending less than the maintenance cost when you use our product. Sandeep, you want to say something?
I think, sir, I just wanted to add in this, since you said this about cloud and all, because it's about perspective and the way people sell it. Because nowadays people are not selling mattresses; they are selling the sleep. And the way AWS is selling is actually, it is not selling the services; it is selling the comfort or the way, the easiness,
Absolutely,
basically.
absolutely.
So
I
I think
totally
that
understand
that.
the branding and the uh, actually you make it a sort of, for example, when you are selling an iPhone, you are not selling an
Mhm.
iPhone because it is very um, it is like, if I need it, it is my desire. So
Yes, exactly.
it becomes your aspiration, so you convert your product into an aspirational goal for people. So so maybe people, large organizations, for them the moving to cloud is an aspiration. So
Yes, yes,
similarly,
exactly, sir.
because it obviously enables the velocity for developers a lot. So no doubt increases the speed of innovation, but it comes with its own cost, no doubt. We being a DevOps company would know that very well, by the way. But anyway, Sandeep, you want to add something?
I think I pre-answered the question before Sandeep
Yes,
asked
yes,
this
sir.
question.
Exactly, exactly, sir. But just wanted to check, sir. I mean, after build versus buy and all those discussions, basically, uh, what do you think most people really buy? I mean, I mean, do they have really pulling for buying, or it is just thought process that no, I'm really stubborn and I'm gonna build it. What is that scenario you have seen?
There are different kinds of leaders.
Mm-hmm.
The whole world is, even today, majority of workload is still not on cloud, right? Because there
Yes,
are
yes,
so many
exactly.
different kinds of leaders, different kinds of mindsets, and we come across different, lot of different kind of people. There are some people who are sort of who are like our ambassadors sitting in the organization, work through the complete layers of the organization to get the product into the system, because they know what advantage it can bring to the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And there are others who would say that I think we are all done, we are running well with our own system, and we do not want to use the product. There are both kinds of leaders. But
Exactly.
uh, I have seen that people who are wanting to achieve more,
Mm.
they are not stuck onto what they are doing today, they want to move forward. For
Okay.
example, there are DevOps leaders who would be happy with doing CI/CD and
Mm.
maintaining this as its state very well. But there are
Mm.
others who want to move to AI, who would want to move to data engineering. They don't want to remain where they are. They want to move ahead. They want
Mm.
to use systems which are very stable, who can ensure that he can be free to do more. So
Mm.
we have a achieve more campaign, by the way. So Build Piper runs an achieve more campaign. So we are seeing our leaders able to achieve more because of Build Piper. They're able to transform themselves into a data engineer, or much bigger DevOps sets can be solved. Security is always a sort of stepchild for any organization. So it's a very most important but least urgent item until there is a security incident, right? So
Exactly, exactly, sir.
our leaders have, the people who have adopted our product have moved on to doing much more valuable things for their organization, and that has been their vision. So
Mm.
so that is how I feel. I may not be absolutely correct, but this is my understanding of the system.
So continuing to that, I think as Shankar said, it is very, very contextual, right? So let's say
Mm-hmm.
somebody who's just starting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, for them, doing that investment for years and having something in place from day zero, that is something very easy, right? Making
Mm-hmm.
that decision. Some customer who has, let's say, invested a lot and
Mm-hmm.
created, let's say, as Shankar said, that a decent setup, which is ensuring that DevOps practice is running fine. For them, it is a big change because they have already done a lot of investment. Not doing a new
Mm-hmm.
investment, that's a challenge. But as Shankar said that, uh, let's say, whether they want to innovate further, are
Mm-hmm.
they innovating right now or not? That is another factor on the basis of people decide, right? So that context becomes very, very important. In which state of journey you are in? Are you already matured? Are you do you have that focus of keep on maturing, or you want to mature but then you want some partner like us who can help them in that maturity journey? Or you're just starting and then you obviously don't want to spend, you want to completely focus on your core work, but then you want somebody to take that pain away, right? So these all various contexts comes into the picture, basis of which people decide whether they should build or they should buy, right?
Thank you, sir. I think this really settles the battle between build versus buy. So this is gonna be the highlight, I think. So this brings to the last question, sir. Actually, I mean, as you mentioned in the starting in your intro, regarding the open source, because there are people in the market or engineers, they are really wondering about how to start contributing towards open source, how to start, what are the areas they should really target, and what are the benefits of doing open sourcing basically, and why it is really important.
So a lot of people ask this question to me, and
Mhm,
I have a very simple answer, and I think it's very straightforward as well. So let's say if somebody wants to start open source, and a lot of people recommend it, that
mhm,
it is as straightforward as starting with, let's say, bugs that are being raised in that open source. Because
mhm,
let's say if you go into some project, the first thing that people do is put you in a support work, right? That okay, look
mhm,
at the BAUs issues that are coming into the picture, so that you have that understanding of that complete ecosystem, you understand that complete architecture, and then you start contributing, right? So it is as simple as that. Now the question why you want to do it. So again, the answer is very straightforward. Why somebody wants to work, let's say companies like uh, uh, Google, Walmart, all those companies, because the people that works there, you get an opportunity to work with them. Financial aspect is there, but ultimately that is an aspect. Now when you work in open source project, uh, and if you're working in a good open source project, without getting into a company, you're getting an opportunity to learn from somebody, somebody that kind of an experience, right?
mhm,
And then obviously it will improve your profile, your capability as well. And what we have seen that, in fact, we also uh, uh, let's say treat people very highly who are contributing into open source systems. So let's say if it is in your profile that you have
mhm,
contributed into an open source project which is used, let's say, across multiple places, for us also it becomes very very easy decision making, that okay, this person has proven credentials, right? You
mhm,
don't have to interview that person because that person has already proved himself.
mhm,
But I think, let's say if somebody wants to do open source contribution, the prime reason should be that okay, I will get an opportunity to work people who are very good in their field.
mhm,
So I think, let's say the only motivation for people to do open source contribution should be this, that I will
mhm.
learn from other people experience.
Okay. Okay. Because I think almost all the open source projects basically, there are people contributing from all across the world, and you get to learn in you wherever you are working in your team, you have a way of working basically, or maybe in your company you have way of working. But if you work with the global workforce, I mean, in a way you are being trained to work remotely or in your own way basically. So I just wanted to say, that would be really good for someone who is really starting up or kind of experience and want to learn how basically loosely coupled teams can be and solve a global problem basically. So that is good. Sankar sir, you were saying something.
No, no, I was saying that I think there is also one more aspect that some people uh, somehow have the ability to focus on one thing very for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Such people are very rare, by the way, who can focus
Mm-hmm.
on one thing for a very long time.
Exactly, sir.
That is a very important aspect towards being an open source contributor. Sandeep, do you agree or not? So
Yes.
basically, what will happen is you can start writing a small utility, and that
Mm-hmm.
small utility you can publish for people to use. But then people
Yes.
will start complaining. They will say this feature is not there, that feature is not there. Now somebody who is doing open source, he has to then consistently go and fix those bugs. So it is as if there's a child who is not growing up, so you have to
Mm-hmm.
constantly guide, constantly mentor, take care of the child until it becomes really a large grown up kid who can manage all by themselves. So the open source contributions will take care of that. So you have to take care of that child for a very long time, and you have to be focused, passionate about that particular work for a very long, because people will not get associated in the beginning. In the beginning people will only complain that
Mm-hmm.
this feature is not there, that feature is not there. But when you start fixing it and it picks up tempo, then for slowly and steadily more and people, so karwa ban jata hai, more and more people get attached to it. So somebody in the beginning has to be the anchor, and that anchor has to
The
be a
torch bearer.
first person who can work for a very long time in it, and Sandeep and his team have that longer
Determination.
vision. Longer vision, they can remain stuck to something. So that is very
Mhm.
important. This is my assessment from what I have seen, right, Sandeep?
Yes, Shankar. Matlab it's almost 2 years we have been working on uh, multiple open source
Mhm.
contributions. So yeah, it has to be that journey.
Cool, cool. Thank you very much. I think that will really help the open source contributors who are really eager to, I mean, kind of contribute towards the open source. Uh, there was one more thing. I mean, I think when I was talking to you last time regarding the My Gurukulam or DevOps Ninja program, do you want to shed some light on it? Because there are so many engineers, and I mean, they really want to get into DevOps, but they don't know how to get in, and kind of get a internship which really pays well, and you get to learn on the job. So where some
Again, I would like Shankar because it's a brainchild of Shankar and Yogesh. These two
okay.
people, brainchild idea
Hmm.
that okay, why we should do my Gurukulam. I think we should
Hmm.
start with that backstory, and then
Hmm.
we can go into more details.
Okay, okay, sir.
So basically, see, we are a service company, so we always have to bake our own bread. Typically, product companies take people who are trained in services companies, and then sort of leverage them to build their products. For example, myself, I was working with Global Logic in the beginning, then I went to ZBI, etc. So any if you go to any sort of product company, generally they don't take freshers a lot. So they take people who have worked in some company which was services, and then they recognize their abilities, and they sort of uh, work for larger organization after that. So uh, we as service company do not have the freedom or the sort of prerogative to hire people from, let's say, Google or Microsoft, right? We have to build our
Mhm,
own talent, and that is why this DevOps Ninja program started, where we wanted to bake our own bread. So
mhm,
people who were very aspirational, who wanted to learn and grow, we
mhm,
brought them into a program, spent sufficient time with them, and out of those people who persisted, so
mhm,
who passed the stress test, by the way. So our ninja
mhm,
program is almost like a stress test. It's stress test is an understatement, by the way. So it's a
mhm,
very very difficult program. Initially it
mhm,
used to be for 3 months, now it is 7 months program. It's
mhm,
very sort of thorough in its
mhm.
approach. And people who are leaders today in our company were
Mhm.
one time uh, DevOps
DevOps
ninja.
Ninja.
So it's a very successful program.
Mhm,
What we do is we sort of start with a abhyarthi phase, where
mhm,
it's a 2 week program where a lot of people join.
mhm.
They around 100 people or 120 people join the batch,
Okay.
and they are taken through that 2 week phase. And by the way, this is a paid program. People pay. We do
Mhm.
not pay. They pay. So
Okay. Okay.
so so they pay 2,000 rupees, that's all. And then
Okay.
it's just to ensure that they have some seriousness. And then we
Mhm,
run through that phase of 2 weeks, and we
mhm,
teach them the AWS. And
mhm,
then at the end of the program, we select around 25 to 30 people,
mhm,
not more than that, out of those 100 people who go through
mhm,
the Vidyarthi phase, which
mhm,
is a 3 month program where we train them on various topics of DevOps. So
mhm,
it could be Linux, AWS, Ansible, Terraform,
mhm,
Docker, etc. And at the end of the 3 month phase, we select around 7 8 people, maximum 10 out of those 25 30 35 people. And these 10 people go through the Snatak phase, which is a
mhm,
3 month industrial training, proper on job training sort of. They are trained on Jira, they are trained on project management aspects, how to report their work, etc. And they do real work. And then at
mhm,
the end, these people get absorbed into Opstree as employees. So that
mhm,
is how it goes. So this
mhm,
is a very very successful program, by the way. People have
mhm.
change their careers from being uh, gym trainers to DevOps engineers, or let's say clerks in government offices to
Oh,
DevOps engineers. So I am
oh,
surprised at the magic Sandeep and his team does to the people. and the kind of confidence people build at the end of 7 months, that they can change their lives. It's transformational journey, by the way. Sandeep, you want to talk about it?
I am also astonished the kind of impact that we are making into the lives of people, right? Because at the end of the day, it gives you that happiness that okay, you helped somebody change the trajectory of that person's life, right? So that is very, very impactful. But obviously, matlab, as Shankar said, that it is a very rigorous program. So, and the criteria that we have, the initial criteria, it is not about capability, it is about seriousness, dedication that we judge people on the basis of which we decide people. And then obviously people get groomed.
Okay, sir. So basically, people come Abhyarthi and then Snatak, and then they get absorbed
No,
into Opstree.
Vidyarthi and then Snatak.
Okay, Abhyarthi, Vidyarthi, Snatak, and then they get absorbed into Opstree, basically. Okay,
Right.
so all this whole time, the 7 months, they have to pay some amount, or how it is till what?
Yeah. So
Uh,
in the first phase, it is only 2,000 rupees. Then
hmm,
in the second phase, 3 months, they have to pay, I think, some 12,000 rupees per month for 3 months.
hmm,
That's all.
hmm. Okay, okay.
So
And what is
so
the
basically,
conversion rate on the Snatak to getting full time work?
Snatak,
almost,
it's 100%.
Okay.
maybe, so there will be one or two outliers. 70, 80%
Hmm.
definitely, 80% definitely is there, right, Sandeep?
Yeah, matlab, at least matlab, it's a guaranteed program, so we hire everybody and then
Right.
Oh, okay, okay. That is good.
So if you
Because
have
you kind of know.
Snatak, then you definitely will get a job. But
Mhm.
then, let's say if you're not able to perform, so we would say at least 80 to 85% people remain in our company as employees.
But you really train them well because I mean you get to know during this phase. I mean this phase that in which area maybe because somebody is good in kill out, somebody good in Kubernetes, somebody good in Ansible. So some in a way or something somebody gets absorbed basically in company. Okay, that will really be helpful for the new age engineers who are coming to uh, the workforce and they are looking forward to kind of break into the DevOps because a lot of people they do internship and do a number of things, but they are really not sure which thing they should really learn. So and they are really willing to spend money because they are spending a lot of money in these training centers and all. But I will definitely recommend them to try out this program. Maybe I'll just send the link of uh, whosoever is asking, or maybe I'll put it in the video description. So, sure. I think I'm done with my question. Any closing advice you would like to give to engineers, leaders, or maybe any predictions you want to make about DevOps industry?
I can tell you that the trend is changing. So when we started the company, and for a very long time, people
Hmm.
were struggling to set up their CI/CD processes, etc.
Hmm.
Now mostly the CI/CD processes are at least claimed to be done.
Hmm.
Whether they are done, not done, but that budget is spent.
Hmm.
So so and in most places it is also done, but generally the CI/CD is no more a problem for people now. Even
Hmm.
if it is a problem, people will not know that it's a problem for them. So they will
Hmm.
feel that their CI/CD is done.
Hmm.
But where people are wanting to spend their budgets today is on SRE, on ensuring being little more security compliant, uh, ensuring that their Kubernetes adoption journeys are really solidified. So
Hmm.
these are the areas where people are maybe more open to investing their money, and AI is
Hmm.
always there. So AI sort of AI ops, ML ops, etc. That discussion is happening. So
Hmm.
investments are not coming in this direction, but people are talking about it. But people are spending a lot on SRE ops,
Hmm.
ensuring that the reliability is measured, they are quantified, the SLIs, SLOs are taken care of. So that discussions has started. This is what
Hmm.
we are hearing, and large enterprises have started wanting to modernize. So they are wanting
Hmm.
to move away from Jenkins based delivery to a platform based delivery. So that is a very good phase because Build Piper will catch that wave. Tools like Build
Hmm.
Piper will catch that wave today. So that is so because enterprises have become tired of having fragmented systems, every
Hmm.
team having its own delivery methodology, etc. They want to
Hmm.
standardize. So this is the trend we are seeing. Uh, to the people, I would like to say, please remain focused.
Mhm,
Irrespective of where the trend is moving,
mhm,
jobs will be there in all areas.
mhm.
You will have CI jobs, you will have CD job, you will have Linux job. Even today, Linux administrators are very valuable.
Yes,
In
yes,
spite
exactly, sir.
of DevOps, in spite of everything, Linux administrators are still sought after today.
Actually, it has become so niche, sir, that in today's world, if you say that you are I mean, you really need a Linux administrator, then it has to be really, really smart guy
Right.
who is doing only Linux administration. And the way I know some of these Linux administrators, and they are really fabulous. And it doesn't take them even seconds to perform all these tasks on machines. So I'm really astonished because nowadays those jobs were mainline or main kind of a stream main jobs. Now they have become really niche: database administrator, dbas, dba architects, rdbms, and all those things. They are really kind of a niche jobs now, and they are getting
Absolutely.
paid more than devops engineers nowadays.
Sure. So my recommendation is do not jump from here to there to somewhere
Mhm,
else.
mhm,
That is a method, but will not sustain you very long. Remain, become very focused. So today people have started talking about pie shaped engineers, com shaped engineers, etc., etc. I am not, I am not somebody who would recommend you to do that. While you can have idea about, you try to become a com with a very small hair, but at least some
mhm.
hair should be very long. You should go very deep into learning at least few skills very well, very well. And you
Exactly.
cannot escape. If you want to really become some valuable person, you cannot escape being one, some expert in some areas, very good experts. So this is my recommendation, Sandeep.
At least become master in some area, just like
Absolutely.
Opstree excelled in the DevOps area. Exactly, sir. Over to you, sir. One last
I
advice.
think Shankar has already covered something, but maybe I will put it from a different perspective. So I think we are living in a very, very exciting time.
Yes, sir.
When I
Agree, sir.
started my career, the technology was changing. Matlab, it was changing there as well, but it was changing in, let's say, in 3, 4, 5 years, right? And then I was
Mhm.
wondering that, okay, do we have to keep learning? But
Mhm.
now the pace has taken a very different level, right?
It is
So
changing so quickly, sir.
yes, but which means that your fundamentals should be very, very strong, right? And then you
Exactly.
should be very, very adaptable in terms of exploring new things and learning new things.
Mhm.
So typically, what I have seen is that people, as soon as they get into their comfortable position, they become then they become lenient with their career,
Yes.
with their aspirations, right? So I think the kind of environment that we are in, it requires a lot of attention. So there is a
Mhm.
statement that we Shankar and we always discuss that uh, your life is like rowing a boat, right?
Mhm. You have to
If you're
keep on
not
going.
rowing the boat, then you're not. Well, it's not like that you are there. You are going backwards.
Yes, yes.
If you have to remain there, you have to row. And if
Mhm.
you row with a lot of effort, then you will move ahead in your life. And I think we are living in that era. So you have to be very, very honest with yourself, whether you are rowing or whether you are rowing with a lot of effort. So that you should, well, that's what I will recommend to the people.
So I think I can relate to it, sir, because I have always seen this thing. Either you are rowing or going forward, or you are going with the flow or with the stream, because you are always against the stream. So I mean, life is going and changing, things are changing, but the as long as you are rowing and keep on learning, keep on hustling, I think this is gonna be working for you. So,
Yes.
thank you, sir. I think this will be end for our conversation. I think we will meet again on some very niche topics like FinOps or something. So,
Sure.
really appreciate it. Really appreciate your time. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks.
I'll be in touch, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Bye. Good
It
day.
was nice talking to you,
Bye.
Sandeep.
Thank you very much, sir. Bye.